Have you ever seen a car that promises the bold styling of a futuristic concept, the practicality of a family SUV, and the price tag of something far less intimidating? That's exactly what Kia claims with the brand new EV4. It's being talked about as the EV for everyone. But is it really the do-it-all electric vehicle we've been waiting for, or just another overhyped promise in a crowded market? Stick with me, because by the end of this review, you might look at the EV world in a completely different way. The Kia EV4 isn't just another electric car rolling onto the scene. It's Kia making a bold play for the heart of everyday drivers in the US market. You've probably noticed how Kia's design language has been completely transformed over the past few years, moving from practical but plain to sharp, almost futuristic styling with their opposites united design philosophy. The EV4 takes that next step. It blends the compact SUV form factor Americans love with the accessible price point that could make electric life feel within reach for far more people. Now, Kia is no stranger to EV success. The EV6 already turned heads with its sporty looks and strong performance. But here's the interesting part. The EV4 isn't meant to push boundaries at the high end. Instead, it's designed to compete where it matters most. The daily commuter, the small family buyer, the young professional deciding if their first EV should also be their main car. And in a moment where rival brands are either pushing luxury EVs higher or flooding the market with budget-friendly electrics that cut corners, Kia's strategy here could shake things up. So, what exactly makes the EV4 different? Does it bring the same design flair and tech appeal to a more approachable package? Or does it leave too much behind in the name of affordability? In just a moment, we'll break it all down, from the way it looks in your driveway, to how it feels behind the wheel, to how far it'll take you before you need to plug back in. Now let's really dig into what the new Kia EV4 brings to the table, because this is the part where the car either earns its hype or loses it. First up, the exterior. Imagine pulling up in something that looks half show car, half city-friendly SUV. The EV4 carries sharp angles, bold LED lighting, and that signature tiger nose grille that Kia has reimagined for the electric era. It's not trying to be anonymous commuter metal. It wants to stand out in the Target parking lot, the office garage, or even in front of a row of Teslas. And let's be honest, that design statement matters, especially in a market where cookie cutter still describes a lot of compact EVs. Inside, Kia doubles down on the same futuristic but welcoming approach. You're greeted with a wide dual-screen setup that stretches across the dash, clean, modern, and easy to read without feeling gimmicky. The cabin is spacious for a compact SUV, with room to compete against popular gasoline rivals like the Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V. And for a car that's supposed to appeal to everyone, Kia smartly avoided the luxury spaceship vibe that can turn off mainstream buyers. Think modern simplicity plus a few high-tech flourishes, instead of buttons scattered everywhere or touchscreens buried in menus. Technology is, of course, a big selling point. Expect wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, over-the-air updates, and advanced driver assistance features like lane keeping, adaptive cruise, and collision avoidance systems that now feel more like table stakes for a serious EV. Kia pitches this as a daily driver's car, but one that still gives you safety nets and conveniences found in higher price segments. Under the skin, the EV4's performance numbers won't break records, but they're eye-catching for its class. Entry trims deliver a solid balance of efficiency and usable power, while higher versions promise enough punch to make merging a breeze and highway driving relaxed instead of stressful. Range estimates hover in that sweet spot for American buyers, enough miles to tackle your work week or a weekend getaway, without the constant fear of hunting down chargers. Kia also includes DC fast charging capability, meaning a quick top-up during a coffee stop could add serious mileage. And here's where it gets interesting: pricing and trims. Kia hasn't gone bargain basement to undercut budget competitors, but the EV4 still slots well below premium EVs. That places it in a unique, middle-ground sweet spot. It's not a stripped-down compliance car, yet it's not priced like a luxury badge play either. We'll get into the exact numbers soon, but let's just say Kia seems to know exactly where American wallets are willing to stretch and where they slam shut. Of course, it's not all glowing praise. Some test drivers already note that while the EV4 is smooth and competent, it doesn't deliver the same dynamic edge as its sibling, the EV6. The steering is tuned more for comfort than playfulness. And depending on trim, interior materials range from impressively upscale to only good enough. So, will everyday buyers notice? Probably not, unless they're comparing back-to-back with much pricier rivals. Coming up, we'll zone in on the biggest highlights and the biggest compromises, the parts that really matter once the new car smell fades. And trust me, a couple of them may surprise you. So here's the moment you've been waiting for, the point where all the numbers, features, and promises either come together or fall apart. Taking the EV4 out on the road tells us more than spec sheets ever could. And honestly, it's full of surprises. The first is how natural it feels behind the wheel. Press the accelerator and you don't get that shriek of instant torque that throws your head back like some sporty EVs. But you do get a smooth, confident surge of power perfectly matched for daily life. Passing on the highway? No hesitation. City streets? Whisper quiet and nimble. It doesn't scream, track monster. But that's not the point. It nails the role of stress-free commuter with a touch of fun. And then comes the range test. On paper, the numbers seemed solid, respectable, but nothing wild. But in real-world driving, the EV4 actually edges out what Kia quoted, squeezing a little extra mileage from its battery. That's the kind of unexpected win that matters more than flashy horsepower bragging rights. It turns range anxiety into range confidence, and suddenly long weekend trips don't feel quite so intimidating. Of course, it's not perfect. Push it hard into corners, and you'll notice the steering's laid-back tuning. And while the interior looks sleek, a closer touch to some trim panels reveals where Kia saved a few bucks. These aren't deal breakers, but they're the little reminders that this isn't trying to be an Audi or a Tesla. It wants to be your approachable everyday EV. And here's the turning point. The EV4 doesn't try to be everything to everyone. Instead, it delivers exactly what most people asked for, a practical, stylish, affordable electric car that feels ready today, not like some futuristic concept. So, is it really the EV for everyone? Or just clever marketing wrapped in sharp sheet metal? Let's break it down. Highs, lows, and the big question, is it worth your money? After spending time with the new Kia EV4, the verdict becomes clear. This isn't the perfect car for everyone, but it comes closer than most automakers have ever managed. Kia has carved out a space right in the middle of the EV market, offering everyday practicality, eye-catching style, and approachable pricing without asking buyers to sacrifice too much along the way. The biggest strengths? That bold exterior design that looks far more premium than its price tag. The intuitive interior with just enough tech to feel modern, but not overwhelming. And the real-world driving range that quietly over-delivers instead of disappointing. These are exactly the qualities that matter most to a majority of U.S. buyers dipping their toes into electrification for the first time. Where does it stumble? Enthusiasts will crave more steering feel and livelier handling. And depending on the trim, some of the interior plastics may remind you this is a value-focused car at its core. But in context, those compromises feel less like deal breakers and more like sensible trade-offs. So who should consider the EV4? It's tailor-made for young professionals, small families, or anyone who wants to go electric without taking on the gamble of ultra-luxury prices or bargain bin shortcuts. In a crowded space where many automakers still struggle to balance cost, style, and usability, Kia may have just set a new benchmark for the mainstream EV. And as EV adoption continues to grow in the US, this could be one of those cars people look back on as a turning point. The one that made going electric feel simple, approachable, and, honestly, kind of exciting. So now I'll hand it over to you. What do you think? Is the Kia EV4 closer to being the EV for everyone? Or does it leave you wishing for more? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this review helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive car breakdowns, and share this with someone who's on the fence about their next ride. Because the conversation doesn't end here, it starts with you.